Okay, so real talk. You can't go anywhere online these days without seeing like a bazillion AI art things popping up.
And it's everywhere.
But our deep dive today, this is about one that's not just on the wave, it's the big wave, right? Red Panda.
Yeah.
This isn't just slapping a filter on your selfie, folks. We're talking something that's like winning competitions, like actually shaking up how people are making art.
And I think what really sets it apart, it's not just that the images are good, it's consistently beating the competition on that artificial analysis leaderboard, like by a lot.
Yeah, and we're talking serious numbers here. Over 100 EL low points above the others. To put that in perspective for people, that's like,
Huge.
it is huge. Like someone just learning chess, suddenly beating a grandmaster, you know? So the question is, what's the secret? Is this like Flux, but evolved? Or is this something totally new? And the big one.
Yeah, how do you even get it?
Exactly. Can you use this thing?
Well, that's part of the intrigue, right? The origins of this red panda are super mysterious.
Yeah.
Some folks think, oh, it's got to be connected to Flux somehow. But then you have others saying, no, this is like straight out of some Chinese research lab we haven't even heard of.
Top secret stuff.
But whatever IT is, they're onto something. That much is clear.
Okay, so let's like get under the hood a bit here. What makes this thing tick? Why is it scoring so much higher than everything else out there? What's going on in its digital brain?
So at the heart of it, it eyes using neural networks, but it's got to be a really special combo.
Okay.
Like imagine a team of, I don't know, super artists all working at once. You've got your convolutional neural networks, CNNs, those are like the eyes, picking up details, patterns in the image.
Gotcha.
Then you've got recurrent neural networks, RNNs. Those are more like the brain, right? Processing the language, understanding what you mean in those prompts you give it.
So it's not just spitting out random stuff. It's actually trying to understand what you want.
Exactly. And there's speculation that it might even be using something called transformers. That's a newer type of neural network. And it's really good at understanding like the complex relationships in data.
Wow.
And that could be part of why it's so good at matching what you, the user, actually have in mind.
And you know what makes this even wilder? All this mystery around how it was made.
Right.
It's like this thing came out of nowhere and is suddenly changing all the rules.
Which, I mean, it kind of shows you how fast this whole AI thing is moving. There's so much happening behind the scenes we don't even see.
All right, so mystery aside, practicality. Let's say I'm listening right now and I'm dying to try this Red Panda thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I even start? Is this like an app I can just download?
That's the catch. Access is a bit limited right now. It's not on app stores or anything.
Okay.
So you might have to do some digging, maybe their website or some sort of early beta program if you're lucky.
So it's like a little exclusive club right now.
For the time being, yeah. But I'm guessing as they develop it further, it'll get easier to get your hands on.
All right, so let's say you're one of the lucky ones. You get access. What can you expect? What's like the setup like?
Okay, so first, make sure your computer or your phone can even RUN this thing.
Good point.
It's powerful stuff. Got to check those system requirements, you know. And then pretty standard, you'll probably have to create an account, like most things online. But there is something interesting. Early users have mentioned you can actually log in using X, the social media platform.
Ooh, that IS interesting. So a social media tie-in.
Yeah, so that might tell us a bit about like who they're aiming this at, maybe even hints about where the development's coming from.
Okay, so I've got my account. I'm staring at this Red Panda thing. What's like the first thing I'm going to notice?
Probably the big text prompt box. That's the heart of it.
Okay.
This is where you become the art director. You describe in detail what you want to see, and then the AI tries to make it happen.
Now, this is where it gets exciting for like anyone who's ever had an idea in their head but can't actually draw, right?
Totally. It's like a genie in a bottle, but instead of wishes, you get art.
I love that.
But it's not just about throwing random words in there. There's an art to crafting good prompts. That's how you really unlock its potential.
I've seen examples of this online. Like someone types cat on a mat, basic,
Yeah.
and the results are okay. But then they get super specific, like the cat's breed, what the mat's made of, the lighting, the mood, all that.
Oh, yeah.
And the image goes from like meh to whoa.
That's it. That's the magic. The more detailed, the more specific you are, the better it understands you. Like you're talking directly to an artist who can perfectly get what's in your head.
So even I, someone who could barely draw a stick figure,
You can be the art director.
I can be the art director.
You direct the AI's vision. It's your creativity and its technical skill working together.
I bet right now listeners are like, mind's blown, possibilities exploding. So, okay, you've mastered the prompt. What LSE can this thing do? Because it's not just single images, right?
No. Red Panda's got some tricks up its sleeve.
Ooh, okay.
We're talking like batch creation, style transfer, even image editing using text prompts.
Hold on, wait. Image editing, but with text T. That sounds like something out of like a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, imagine you've got a photo and you want to change the background, add something new. Instead of using like Photoshop, all that complicated stuff, you just type what you want and Red Panda does it.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah, what?
That is seriously impressive. Okay, break it down for us. What does batch creation even mean in this context?
So let's say you're designing a character for like a video game.
Okay.
With batch creation, you could generate, I don't know, dozens of versions of that character, different poses, outfits, expressions. It's amazing for exploring ideas, finding the perfect look.
So like having an army of concept artists.
Exactly. And then there's style transfer. This is where you like take the style of one image and apply it to another. Classic example, you take a photo of your house
Yeah.
and make it look like a Van Gogh painting.
Whoa, Starry Night over my house.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta see.
It's a lot of fun playing with those artistic styles, seeing your photos in a whole new way.
All right, I'm geeking out over here. This is way more than just like a simple image generator. It's like a whole art studio in one program.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with all the cool stuff, we got to talk about the elephant in the room here,
Oh, yeah.
the ethics of it all.
Right. Just because we can create something doesn't always mean we should, right? Especially with something this powerful, there are some big ethical things to think about.
Yeah, responsibility matters.
Mhm.
And one of the big ones right off the bat is copyright.
Hmm.
Red Panda doesn't magically make copyright law disappear, even if it's the AI making the images.
Absolutely. If you're using it to create something based on, like, a movie character or a copyrighted book illustration,
Yeah, you're in trouble.
you could be infringing on someone else's work for sure.
And then there's the whole thing with deep fakes,
Mhm.
misinformation. We've seen how AI can make these super realistic images, videos,
Hmm.
but they're fake.
Right.
Red Panda could be used for that too, and that's
Yeah.
kind of scary.
It's definitely a concern. We got to be aware of how this stuff could be misused and think critically about what we're creating, sharing.
Okay, BUT. Let's not end on a doom and gloom note.
Yeah.
The Red Panda community, especially on X, seems to be really engaged with these ethical discussions.
That's good to see.
They're talking about responsible use, how to avoid copyright issues, even flagging stuff that's potentially harmful.
That's encouraging. Shows people are taking this seriously, trying to shape how AI art develops in a good way.
So, to anyone listening, I'd say dive in, have fun, explore what it can do, but do it thoughtfully.
Agreed.
This tech is moving fast. We all got to be part of making sure it's used for good. And on that note, we're going to take a quick pause, be back to explore even more of what Red Panda can do.
Sounds good. You know, it's actually really cool seeing what people are already doing with Red Panda. Like everything from like super realistic portraits to like fantasy creatures, you know.
Yeah, it really feels like a game changer, not just for, professional artists and designers, but like anyone who's ever had an idea and wanted to see it. You know what I mean?
Totally. One of the things that's so amazing is how it's making art like more accessible. You don't need years of training or expensive software to make something cool.
It really is like putting the power of like a whole art studio right in your pocket or on your desk, I guess.
Yeah.
And the possibilities, I mean, endless, right?
It really does feel that way. Like you could be designing concept art for a game, making a logo for your business.
Yeah.
Even just like images for your social media.
And think about the educational side of it, right? Like imagine this in schools, teaching kids about art, design, even like AI concepts.
Oh, for sure. It could be huge for sparking creativity, getting a whole new generation into digital art.
Okay, so speaking of pushing those creative boundaries, let's go back to some of those advanced features we talked about earlier, like image editing with text prompts. I'm still wrapping my head around that. Like, how does that actually work?
All right, so picture this, right? You've made this image, a beautiful sunset over a city skyline.
Okay, I'm with you.
But you want to add, I don't know, a hot air balloon floating up there?
I like where this is going.
Instead of messing around with like Photoshop or whatever, you just type in, add a hot air balloon in the top left corner.
Wait, that's IT. That's all you got to do.
Pretty much. Red Panda, it looks at the image, understands what you're asking, and boom, adds the balloon. Blends it in perfectly like it was always there. Matches the style, the lighting, everything.
That is so cool. It's like talking to the picture, right? Be like, hey, picture, put this here. Make it look awesome.
Exactly. And the level of control you have is insane. You can say, like, how big it is, the color, even the texture.
So, like, could I take a selfie
Uh-huh.
and tell Red Panda to, like, give me a superhero costume?
You totally could. And honestly, it'd probably look way more realistic than anything you could do with, like, regular photo editing.
Mind blown. Again, okay, now, batch creation, we touched on that, but I want to dig in a little deeper. What are some, like, practical ways people can use this?
So batch creation is awesome when you need a bunch of variations of the same image. Like, let's say you're designing a website, you want to test different banner images.
Oh, right. Or, like, if you're doing illustrations for a book, you could try different.
Exactly. You could have, like, dozens of options, super quick, each one a little different, maybe the composition, the colors, even, like, facial expressions if there are characters.
Saves so much time compared to making each one by hand.
Oh, yeah. And it lets you explore more ideas than you'd probably come up with on your own.
Okay, so we've got batch creation, style transfer, that text editing thing. Anything else we haven't talked about yet?
There are a couple more things that are pretty wild. One is you can actually fine-tune the AI's style based on specific artists or, like, art movements.
So, like, if I wanted something that looks like it was painted by, I don't know, Monet.
You could do that. You feed it examples of Monet's work, and it learns to mimic the brush strokes, the colors, the whole vibe.
Wow, so you could recreate those classic styles or even, like, mix them together.
Yeah, it's super powerful if you want to play around with different aesthetics, make something truly unique.
Okay, so we've gone from photorealism to, like, famous painters.
Yeah.
But what about animation? Can it make stuff move?
That's the question everyone's asking, right? And it's not a simple yes or no. It doesn't have, like, animation tools built in yet.
Okay.
But people are already figuring out ways to use what it does have to make animations.
Really? How are they doing that?
One way is they use that batch creation feature, generate a bunch of images, each one showing, like, a tiny change in a character's pose or movement.
Oh, so like almost like a flip book that you stitch it together.
That's it. And because Red Panda is so good at making high-quality images and fast, it could be a really efficient way to do certain kinds of animation.
That is so clever. People are already hacking it, finding all these new ways to use it.
Which honestly is the best part. It shows how much potential this thing has. Who knows what people will come up with as it develops further?
It's a good time to be following this AI art stuff, that's for sure. We're just like at the beginning of it all.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes next.
Well, on that note, we're going to take one more quick pause, then we'll come back with our final thoughts on Red Panda and what it all means for, like, the future of creativity. Okay, so we've really gone deep on the tech side of Red Panda. We've seen what it can do from those amazing images to, like, mimicking famous artists.
Right.
Even talked about how people are using it to, like, hack together animations, push those creative boundaries.
It's amazing how fast this stuff is moving, honestly.
Which brings us to the big question, right? What does this all mean for the future of art?
Yeah, that's the one everyone's wondering about. And it's tough to say for sure.
Some folks are worried, right? Like, are AI art, things like Red Panda, going to, like, replace human artists?
It's a valid concern for sure. But I actually think it's more likely that AI becomes a tool, something artists use to be even more creative.
Like, if you think about it, it's kind of like when photography was invented.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone thought, oh, no, painting's dead. But what happened?
It changed things, opened up new possibilities like Impressionism. That whole movement was kind of a reaction to photography.
Really,
right?
exactly. So maybe AI art is like that, this new disruptive thing that makes us rethink what art can even be.
Totally. And instead of being afraid of it, maybe we should be, like, embracing it. A new creative partner, you know?
A partner that can help you break through those creative blocks, try new styles, even come up with ideas you never would have thought of on your own.
Exactly. And the tech is only going to get better, so who knows what we'll be able to make in a few years.
The possibilities are mind-blowing, really. So to anyone listening who's, like, intrigued by this Red Panda thing or AI art in general, I say jump in.
Yeah, get your hands dirty, experiment, play around, see what you can come up with.
It's a really exciting time to be, a creator of any kind. And who knows, maybe your Red Panda masterpiece will be in a museum someday.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
But the fun is in the making, right?
Absolutely. That's a great point. So that's it for our Red Panda deep dive. Hopefully you learned some stuff, had your mind blown a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep diving deep.